This video is for educational purposes only and does not support violence of any form or kind. The case we're going to uncover is about Draper and Torey Adamcik. Cassie Jo Stoddart was born on December 21, 1989 in Pocatello. She had a younger brother named Andrew and an elder sister named Christy. Cassie's parents were not together, and there is no known information regarding her biological father. Growing up, the Stoddart children resided between their mother and stepfather's residence and their grandparents, with whom they had a close relationship. Cassie liked music and was a gifted artist. She was compassionate, intelligent, and self-assured, despite being only a year and a half older than him. Her brother Andrew called her his role model. In addition to being siblings, Andrew and Cassie were also the best of friends. Andrew subsequently said Cassie and I were into the same stuff and going to the same places. He continued by saying that although they disagreed occasionally, as siblings do, they generally carried out all of their tasks jointly. Cassie was a junior at Pocatello High School when this narrative is set. She met Matt Beckham, her boyfriend, in school. By September 2006, the couple had been together for roughly 5 months.
We're going to make history. We're gonna make history. We found our victim, and sad as it may be, she's our friend. But you know what? We all have to make sacrifices. Hello, Cassie. I'm getting you on tape, okay? Say hi, please. Hi. Okay, see ya.
What's going on?
Somebody looks dead on my flag. Oh my God, it's my cousin's daughter. I needed him.
Let me get your order medical. Stay on the line.
Oh God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Everybody hide. There's a girl dead on my floor.
Honey, is she breathing?
No, she isn't. She's cold. Oh my God.
She's cold as a cut?
She's cold.
Okay, do you want to start CPR?
Her fingers are blue.
Okay, how old is she?
She's 16, 17. And her mom just drove up here. She's dead.
Okay, hon, we're going to get them coming, okay?
Oh my God, okay.
Stoddart's aunt and uncle were shocked to return home on Sunday, September 24, 2006, to find their niece's body lying in a pool of her own blood. Having been stabbed over 30 times, Cassie's aunt reported to a 911 dispatcher. "There's a girl dead on my floor," a voice said. "She's missing a finger in the background. Going to make." Only did Draper and Adamcik videotape themselves arranging the murder, but they also got video of Stoddart at school a few hours before they unaliving her.
Hello, Cassie. I'm getting you on tape, okay? Say hi, please.
Hi.
Okay, see ya. Wait, have you seen Torey? He's supposed to meet me here at 7:30, and it's 8:19. He's an hour late. You don't even care, do you? Okay, see ya.
Afterwards, Brian went to the bathroom to take a video of himself in memory of what they were about to do. Later, Brian went to meet Torey to discuss their plans for that night.
Torey, September 22nd, 2006. We're skipping our 4th hour. We're writing our plan right now for tonight. It's gonna be cool. What is supposed to happen tonight. So hopefully nothing will go wrong. Everything will go smoothly. And we can get our first kill done, started, and we can keep going. We've probably tried maybe 10 times. They've never been on the loan, so.
Well, we have. The parents show up.
As long as we're patient, you know. And we were patient, never getting paid off because our victim's home alone. So we got our plan all worked out now. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Cassie's family, but she had number one. We have to stick with the plan, and she's perfect. So she's gonna die.
Friday, September 22nd, after school, Cassie went to her aunt and uncle's house on Whispering Cliffs, Doctor, where she would stay as a house sitter until Sunday. Cassie asked her aunt and uncle if Matt might come to hang out with her in the evenings because the house was in a rather rural place. They assured her it would be all right. Matt got to the residence that evening at 6 o'clock. The two chose to see Kill Bill Volume, their film. In addition, Matt brought Torey Adamcik and Brian Draper over. We'll find out if she has friends over.
We'll find out if she has friends over. She's going to be alone in a big, dark house out in the middle of nowhere. How perfect can you get? I mean, like, holy shit, dude.
I'm horny just thinking about it.
Hell yeah. So we're and her friends, and we're going to keep moving on. I heard some news about Kirsten. She's going to be home alone from 6 to 7. So we might then drive over to Cassie's thing.
At Pocatello High School, Brian and Torey were classmates of Matt and Cassie, both 16. Although Cassie thought of them as friends, they weren't very close. Cassie was actually a little irritated with Matt for extending the invitation to them without consulting her. After all, Matt assured Cassie they were only going to hang out and watch a movie, so everything would be all right.
Friends too pussy to go investigate. Turn here.
Too smart.
Why are you turning there, dude? Okay. Now we're gonna go over to Cassie and Matt's house. If they're home alone, we're gonna see.
Cassie's house, Matt is there.
Matt is there. Sorry. We're gonna knock on the door. We'll see who's there. We'll see if their parents are home or not. If they're home alone, we will leave our way, and then we will come back in about 10 minutes. We'll sneak in through the door because chances are they're probably in Cassie's room. So we'll sneak in the front door. We'll make a noise outside, and Matt will come out, investigate, kill him, and it will scare the shit out of Cassie. Okay? Well,
sounds like fun.
Cassie gave the lads a tour of her aunt and uncle's home when Brian and Torey arrived between 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the evening. As she was guiding them through the basement, Brian unlocked the door, which led to the backyard without Cassie's knowledge. Once Cassie finished giving the tour, the four returned to the living room and began watching the movie. After Cassie Jo's boyfriend departed, Draper and Adamcik returned to the house wearing masks and cut off the power again.
And they are right in that house just down the street.
We just talked to them. We were there for an hour. But
We checked out the whole house. We know there's lots of doors. There's lots of places to hide. I unlocked the back doors, so it's all locked. Now we just gotta wait, and yeah, we're really nervous right now, but you know, we're ready.
Both Brian and Torey were so excited about their sick plan. After Cassie Jo's boyfriend departed, Draper and Adamcik returned to the house wearing masks and cut off the power again. Allegedly, they planned to wait in the basement expecting Cassie Jo to go downstairs to check the breaker box, inadvertently fulfilling their slasher movie fantasy. When Cassie Jo didn't go to the basement, they went upstairs to the living room and lived her 30 times with 2 knives. The autopsy later revealed around 12 of the stab wounds were fatal, with 11 coming from 1 knife. Following the murder, Draper and Adamcik left the Whispering Hills residence, continuing to film their reactions as they drove away. According to transcripts of the tape, soon after the murder, they bought movie tickets to establish an alibi. In police interviews, the teens asserted they were back at Adamcik's house around 11:30 p.m. and stayed there. However, witnesses in the video timestamp contradicted their statements. The recorded footage showed Draper and Adamcik discussing the events around 11:31 p.m. in the car.
See, we just left her house. This is not a fucking joke.
I'm shaking.
In the throat, and I saw her lifeless body just disappear. Dude, I just killed Cassie. Oh, fuck. That felt like it wasn't even real. I mean, it went by so fast.
Shut the fuck up. We gotta get our act straight.
It's okay. Okay, let's buy movie tickets now.
Okay.
On September 24th, 2 days later, the Contreras family made their scheduled return home. The first person inside the house was the 13-year-old daughter of Frank and Allison. She thought it odd that the front door was unlocked, but she didn't give it much thought. But she started screaming as soon as she entered the living room. Her parents hurried inside to investigate the issue. Blood was all over the place, on the walls, the chairs, and the carpet. The body of Cassie Jo Stoddart lay on the floor beside the couch. Frank Contreras immediately contacted the police. Cassie's stepfather and distraught mother arrived shortly after. Later, Andrew Stoddart told how his stepfather called and sobbed over the phone, telling him that his sister had been killed. Andrew subsequently recalled, "I dropped the phone and crumbled to the ground. I was at a loss for how to even digest it." The community was swiftly informed about the murder. Residents of Pocatello frequently say things like this don't happen here when something terrible occurs in their little community. As soon as they arrived, investigators started to examine the area. During this period, the Contreras family was billeted in a hotel by the sheriff's department. Since they were unable to locate any evidence of forced entry, it is possible that Cassie allowed her attacker inside the home. Most likely, she was familiar with them. The remainder of the house looked undisturbed, safe from the scene in the living room. Since none of the Contreras possessions were missing, burglary was ruled out as a possible explanation. The cats and dogs who had been kept in a different room had not been hurt. The autopsy report on Cassie exposed the extreme violence of her assault. She had sustained 30 stab wounds to her back, belly, neck, and chest. She suffered between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock, fatal stab wounds. Her hands and arms were covered in defensive wounds. She was unalived on Friday night as it was assumed that she had been dead for nearly 2 days when she was found. As is typical in situations such as this one, suspicions were directed straight against Cassie's boyfriend, Matt Beckham. The last person to see Cassie alive was Matt. It was also a savage and brutal attack. Stabbing someone 30 times is excessive. It's something that's typically observed in a crazed assault carried out by a familiar person, like a romantic partner who jetted into. But Matt was keen to assist the investigators in any manner he could. Provided a thorough account of his evening's activities and the people he spent it with. During interrogation, he described how Torey Adamcik and Brian Draper had arrived at the house but left early. He shared with them the conversation he had with his mother on the phone, in which he expressed his desire to stay at the house with Cassie rather than be left alone. However, his mother brought him up, and he had gone to bed. After spending the remainder of the evening with his parents, his calls and texts were documented in his phone records. He contacted Cassie multiple times the next day, Saturday the 23rd, but she never picked up. Additionally, Matt required rides everywhere because he didn't own a car, and I'm not sure whether he understood how to drive. Investigators had no doubts that Matt was not the one who unalived Cassie. They were convinced he wasn't involved because of his timeline, phone records, parental alibi, and assistance with their investigation. They put a lot of pressure on him, knowing that he was a good suspect because he was Cassie's lover. However, their suspicions grew less the more they probed him. "I dropped the phone and crumbled to the ground. I was at a loss for how to even digest it." The community was swiftly informed about the murder. Residents of Pocatello frequently say things like this don't happen here when something terrible occurs in their little community. As soon as they arrived, investigators started to examine the area. During this period, the Contreras family was billeted in a hotel by the sheriff's department. Since they were unable to locate any evidence of forced entry, it is possible that Cassie allowed her attacker inside the home. Most likely, she was familiar with them. The remainder of the house looked undisturbed, safe from the scene in the living room. Since none of the Contreras possessions were missing, burglary was ruled out as a possible explanation. The cats and dogs who had been kept in a different room had not been hurt. The autopsy report on Cassie exposed the extreme violence of her assault. She had sustained 30 stab wounds to her back, belly, neck, and chest. She suffered between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock, fatal stab wounds. Her hands and arms were covered in defensive wounds. She was unalived on Friday night as it was assumed that she had been dead for nearly 2 days when she was found. As is typical in situations such as this one, suspicions were directed straight against Cassie's boyfriend, Matt Beckham. The last person to see Cassie alive was...
So yeah,
Classy.
it's gonna be extra fun.
You're evil.
Yes, I am. So are you.
No,
We're
evil
both
is an expression of God. That was another test you failed.
Evil is not an expression of God.
Yes, it is.
Bullshit, you know it.
Evil, of origin, is a follower of Satan.
There is no
Satan
Satan.
real? Then shut up.
Then how are we supposed to express ourselves?
Good and bad.
We're bad.
We're bad.
That sounds so shitty.
We're evil. That sounds even shittier.
We're not, okay? They were sick psychopaths. Did not get pleasure of killing other people.
That sounds good, baby.
We're gonna go down in history. We're gonna be just like Scream, except real life terms.
That
We're gonna be
sounds
murderers.
good, baby.
Like, let's see, Ted Bundy, like the Hillside Strangler,
No.
the Zodiac Killer.
Those people are more amateurs compared to what we're gonna be. We're gonna be more of higher sources of
Gene. Well, except for that sick and that twisted.
Oh, do you know what Gene's words were?
What?
Saw a girl walking down the street, right?
Yeah.
2 questions came to his head. I could take her out, have a nice time with her. Or, I wonder what her head would look like on a stick.
Holy shit.
That's creepy,
Yes.
huh?
Holy shit. Murder is power, murder is freedom. Goodbye.
In the 4th interview, he told investigators that while Torey was the first to stab Cassie, he did stab her in the leg and chest, but this was only because Torey was threatening him to do so because according to Torey, Cassie was going to die anyway. Torey could no longer claim that he was innocent as he had up to that point, but he did do his best to wiggle his way out of any accountability by pointing the finger at Brian. Torey was obviously implicated, but he said that it was all Brian's idea, that he didn't really know what was happening, and he thought they were just going to scare Cassie. He insisted that he believed they were just making a movie like Wes Craven's classic horror flick Scream.
Our locker. Got my Halloween
Pretty
stuff.
fucking sweet, isn't it?
My trench coat.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's decently sweet. Here.
I'm gonna.
They were planning to make a slasher film of their own. That was all. It was Torey's explanation that resulted in this case becoming known as the Scream Killers. When they were in the basement, Torey said he was too scared to go upstairs. When he did eventually go up, he said Brian was there, and he had stabbed Cassie to death. The blame game did not work out for either of them. However, as investigators were about to come across a jackpot of evidence against both boys, Brian guided the detectives to Black Rock Canyon, where he and Torey had removed the knives they had used to unalive Cassie from the crime scene and other evidence linking them to the unalivings. From the location Brian directed them to, they were able to retrieve nearly 20 items. I won't go through them all, but they contained 4 different blades, one with a serrated blade and the other that resembled a dagger, rubber gloves, and black gloves. A camera, a Sony videotape, and masks in the spirit of Halloween were also present. A handwritten note was among the objects that had some of its contents partially burned. It was difficult for them to read the exact words because of the burn marks. However, it seemed to include some of their murderous plots. They were able to piece together some information regarding the likelihood of unaliving Matt should he remain at the residence, as the examination of the camera would reveal to investigators. Brian and Torey saw themselves as aspiring filmmakers who were primarily interested in producing documentaries.
This is me. My
Obituary.
no,
Your information.
my
What?
giving you the right to copy me with a character that looks like me. Because I know in Hollywood they usually have people complain they can't have people looking like the real thing. I don't care. It's my body and I get to choose how I look in the movie, and I want you to look just like the character to look like me.
Well said, well said.
So if my parents are like, no, you can't do that, it's not my parents' choice, it's mine.
Say fuck him, and then just do it.
Yeah. And if they try and sue you, use this tape as a backup.
Yeah.
They can't do it.
Yep. I hear you. I'm the same way. Okay.
Scenario C.
How about Matt arrives at the same time as Cassie? How about we
They went about recording their daily lives and became the subjects of their own movies. In addition to Brian's admission, the detective's conviction in the boys' guilt was firmly established by the things the boys discussed in the movies. The relevant videos were taken between September 21st, the evening before the murder, and September 22nd at 11:31 p.m. The lab was tasked with conducting forensic examination on the remaining objects found at Black Rock Canyon. Blood stained the black gloves that had partially burned. According to DNA tests, the blood belonged to Cassie. There was also blood on a serrated knife with a black handle. On one of the masks, DNA belonging to Torey Adamcik was found. Torey Adamcik and Brian Draper faced separate trials for Cassie Jo Stoddart's murder. Early April 2007 saw the start of Brian's trial, and May 31, 2007 saw the start of Torey's trial. 1 count of first-degree murder and 1 count of first-degree murder conspiracy were brought against each of them. It was determined that they would face adult trials because of the heinous and horrifying nature of the murder. On April 17, 2007, Brian Draper was found guilty of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree. On June 8, 2007, Torey Adamcik was also found guilty on both charges. On August 21, 2007, both boys were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole plus 30 years for conspiracy to commit murder. Both boys appealed their convictions, albeit with differing degrees of determination. It seemed as though Brian was more accepting of his punishment, while Torey, who continued to claim his innocence, was less so. Torey's family were firmly behind him at the time and continue to be to this day. They have supported him emotionally and financially to no end. His mother, Shannon Adamcik, has written a book about her son and his experience of being tried as an adult despite being a juvenile at the time of his crime. If you ask me what I think about this case, I think they got what they deserved. What they did to Cassie was heinous. Thanks for watching, and remember to click on the like button and the notification bell if you like the video.